gal of mine. Are like a diamond, her lips are red, red rose, her cheeks are like the lily that in the morning grows. I'm going to Italy for long, going to Italy for long. See that gal of mine, now yonder comes my own true love. How you reckon I know? I can tell her by her apron strings that hanging down so low. A wedding ring shines like glittering gold. I'm going to get that gal of mine before she gets too old. I'm going to Italy for long, going to Italy for long. You see that gal of mine? Said I'm going to Italy for long, going to Italy for long. You see that gal of mine?
All righty, folks, welcome. We're going to take it from Bascom, Lamar, Lunsford. Is that right?
That's right.
To Louis Jordan. What do you think? 1, 2. Oh, we know what to do. Farmer Brown was taking the air. He locked up the barnyard with the greatest of care. Out in the hen house something stirred. When he heard who's there, this is what he heard. There ain't nobody here but us chickens. There ain't nobody here at all. So quiet yourself, stop that fuss. There ain't nobody here but us. We chickens trying to sleep, and you bust in and hobble, 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 hobble with your chin. There ain't nobody here but us chickens. There ain't nobody here at all. You're stomping around, or shaking the ground, and kicking up an awful dust. You chickens trying to sleep, and you bust in, and hobble, 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 hobble. It's a sin. Tomorrow is a busy day. We got things to do, we got eggs to lay, we got ground to dig and worms to scratch. It takes a lot of sitting getting chicks to hatch. There ain't nobody here but us chickens. There ain't nobody here at all. So quiet yourself, stop that fuss. There ain't nobody here but us. Kindly point that gun the other way and hobble, hobble, hobble off and hit the hay. A busy day. We got things to do, we got eggs to lay, we got ground to dig and worms to scratch. It takes a lot of sitting getting chicks to hatch. There ain't nobody here but us chickens. There ain't nobody here at all. So quiet yourself, stop that fuss. There ain't nobody here but us. Kindly point that gun the other way and hobble, hobble, hobble off and hit the hay. Hey, hey, what do you say? Chickens, there ain't nobody here but us chickens. Thank you. More vocal.
I think so.
What?
I think so.
Oh,
Yes.
Way out in Reno, Nevada, where the romances bloom and fade, there was a great Philadelphia lawyer making love to a Hollywood maid. Come love and we will go rambling down where the city lights are bright. Oh, when you may divorce from your husband,
oh.
and we can get married tonight. Wild Bill was a gun-toting cowhand, 10 notches he carved on his gun. And all of the boys around Reno, they left Wild Bill's sweetheart alone. One night while Bill was turning from riding the rain and the cold, he was thinking of his Hollywood sweetheart and her love as lasting as gold. But as he drew near to the window, two shadows he saw on her shade. It was the great Philadelphia lawyer making love to Bill's Hollywood maid. Well, the night was as still as the desert, with the moon hanging high overhead. Bill listened a while through the window. He could hear every last word they said. Honey, your hands are so pretty and lovely, and your form so rare and divine. Come, go back with me to Philadelphia. Leave this wild cowhand behind. Now tonight back in old Pennsylvania, among her beautiful pines, there's one less Philadelphia lawyer in old Philadelphia tonight.
Bryan McDowell.
Thank you so much. For those of you who didn't recognize it, that's an old Woody Guthrie tune. Originally done, yeah, Woody Guthrie.
I met them because I met them long time ago when they were here. I got to sing with them.
That's exciting. Cool. Cool.
Here.
And his daughter And
Oh, yeah. Very nice. So that was a great old Woody Guthrie tune. And I'm going to switch over to the fiddle here. I actually grew up in western North Carolina learning fiddle music. That's kind of my upbringing from a guy named Arvil Freeman, first-generation fiddler. He's since passed away. But he turned me on to a lot of great fiddle tunes. A lot of great tunings for the fiddle. This is a cross tune to play this next song that I got from Doc Watson. This is Muskrat. Muskrat, it makes you smell so bad. Laying around the farmer's house, eating up all he had. Eating up all he had. Eating up all he had. Muskrat, attract him through the sand. Muskrat, oh muskrat, I'm gonna catch him if I can. Catch him if I can. Muskrat, oh muskrat, I'll catch you sure as you're born. Running around all over the ground, eating up all my corn. 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 Muskrat, oh muskrat, I trapped him on the plain. Skin him out and stretch his hide and tack him to a plane. Muskrat, oh muskrat, I trapped him on the farm. Gonna sell his hides and they get dry to keep some pretty gal warm. Keep some pretty gal warm. Keep some pretty gal warm. Muskrat, it makes you smell so bad. He went around the farmer's house, eating up all he had. 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 Mark, why don't you tell them about that thing you were just playing?
Well, Paul told you we were going to explore a lot of different traditions in American music, and that was one right there. Good old jaw harp. A little bit of that goes a long way, don't you think? I'm going to pull out the old 5-string banjo and play a little claw hammer style banjo. For the uninitiated, that's a style of banjo that preceded the 3-finger style, which is generally associated with bluegrass music, where the musician puts picks on the first and second finger and thumb, and there's a lot of rolls, and it's a great, wonderful driving kind of sound. The claw hammer, it's more that kind of boom, ticka boom, at the kind of core of it. It's probably a little more closely related to the to the African roots of the banjo. And I'm going to do a tune that I wrote called Kensington Station. And I wrote this when I was over in London with a really great dance group called Footworks Percussive Dance Ensemble. They had been hired to join the Riverdance, the show, at the beautiful Apollo Hammersmith Hall in their first sold-out year-long run there in London, just when the show was kind of getting off the ground. It was very exciting. And we used to take the tube, that's of course British for the subway, from our nice digs in Chelsea over to that beautiful theater. And one of the stations along the way was Kensington Station. Wrote this tune, and I thought it'd be good to name it after that place.
Which Kensington Station was it?
I think it was West Kensington Station, if I'm not mistaken. Someone corrected me on that recently, who was from there, and he said, I don't think there is a Kensington Station. Now, there is a West Kensington Station. I said, okay. Thus, Brian, you wanted a little more specifics there, didn't you? All righty. And we'll feature the wonderful sound of the fiddle and the banjo. It's kind of the voice from Europe. It gets together with this percussive instrument originally from Africa. Some people call it the yin and yang of country music. I call it the twing and the twang of country music. Thanks, folks. This room sounds awesome, I have to say.
Thanks to you. Thanks to you. You rock.
I was going to say the best part of it is thanks to you. What a great audience. Thank you for being here tonight. Thanks to Paul and Claudia and Watermelon Wednesdays. I was reminded that we played here a few years back with the wonderful Claire Lynch Band. And anybody catch that show back then? Well, new crowd. That's
Thanks,
great.
Mom. Thanks, Dad.
And when Brian was trying to remind me of it, and when I walked up to the church, I said, "Oh yeah, I remember now." And so we're thrilled to be here. Brian, what do you got for the folks?
I've been writing songs recently. Imagine that. And there was a community close to where I grew up in Canton, North Carolina. This community was called Crusoe. It was out about 10 miles from Canton. And it was one of these kind of stretches of river that came down, flowed down from the mountain, flowed down from Mount Pisgah, if you've ever been down that way. And very prone to flooding because it's this narrow, if there was any kind of major storms or hurricanes or anything like that, it's this kind of narrow valley with a river going through it. I think it's the East Fork River. And so they would tend to have a lot of floods there. And there were some really disastrous historic floods. And I wrote this song, and this is called The Crusoe Flood, and we recorded it and put it on an album back in 2021. We've got some copies of that with us here tonight. That's the Grit and Polish album. And then there was another flood that same year that knocked out 30 bridges and was pretty devastating. So I like to send this tune out. It's kind of a lighthearted tune, but hopefully a healing tune, healing song, healing through music. This is the Crusoe Flood. 2, 3. Well, the old guy knew that the mountain would be washing away when the sun went down. He heard it in his ear, though the sky was clear, and I made him shadow puppets on the ground. Well, I paid no attention to a thing he said. I kept on hauling till the first drop fell, but I wish I'd listened now. So roll up your britches and loosen up the hitches. The team ain't no use now.
You never make it through the mud.
Just sit back, kick back, and get yourself way back from the Crusoe flood. I was trying to get the corn in when the storm started and echoed off the roofs. It rumbled down low and it all went sideways. Something inside turned loose. Well, he said again, "We're going down the river, be a good swimmer," and he gave me his horse's bed, and he took off in the spit. The stream took a detour up at the high fork by the pile of timber. It's flowing both sides of the Kellys, and I give them another half an hour till they're under. I see them packing out, they're taking their sound, ducking through the brush. Now they're gone. So roll up your britches and loosen up the hitches. The team ain't no use now.
You never make it through the mud.
Just sit back, kick back, and get yourself way back from the Crusoe flood. We said goodbye to pretty young island, let her go with the kids. Many years go by and I don't know why, but they all come back real clean. Now the water's getting high and I'm standing on an island 30 feet wide. I should have been born with gills, now I just now had my fill. So roll up your britches and loosen up the hitches. The team ain't no use now.
You never make it through the mud.
Just sit back, kick back, and get yourself way back from the Crusoe flood.
You never make it through the mud.
Just sit back and kick back and get yourself way back from the Crusoe flood. Just sit back, kick back, and get yourself way back.
love you, made me want you. Now I need you all the time. My heart is sad, so lonely each night and day. You're on my mind, you broke my heart, my little darling. Gonna call for you yet another day. But a broken heart will keep on crying. I know you know I'm in despair. Made me forget of all the others, made me forget of all the past. Sweetheart, you told me, really loved me. My friends told me it'd never last. Broke my heart, my little darling. When I called for you, you had another there. But a broken heart will keep on crying. I know you know I'm in despair. Call for you, you had never there. But a broken heart will keep on crying. I know you know I'm in despair. I know you know I'm in despair. Thank you.
Thanks so much. That was a classic Bill Monroe tune that Mark was rendering there so well. And
Thank you so
played
much,
such
Brian.
a nice bass solo on there. By the way, this is Mark is a two-time bass player of the year. I'm not sure if IBMA, not sure if that was mentioned. And a figure of legendary status besides in the bluegrass world. Oh, hello, friends.
That's,
Yeah.
all right, that's nice, that's nice.
And here's more new music, more original tunes from me. 2, 3, 4.
That was fun. The first tune there was one, that beautiful number was called Anxious, of course. It doesn't make me feel anxious, but I guess at some point, I don't know where that title came from. And the second one is a farm-related title, which I didn't get for a long time until he explained it to me. It's called, there's the bats again, The Gravely Bit the Farmall. Does that mean anything to folks here in the... Okay. The Gravely Bit the Farmall.
That's right.
We'll leave it to your imagination. Look it up.
Are there any Gillian Welch fans here? Well, we're not going to do one of hers right now. No, I'm kidding. This is the Barroom Girls. The night came undone like a party dress, fell at her feet in a beautiful mess. Smoking the whiskey came home in her curls, and it crept through the dreams of a barroom girl. She tosses and turns as the sun's unkind, and the heat of the day's coming in through the blind. Leave all the blue skies for the rest of the world, for the neon shines for the barroom girls. Oh, the barroom girls go by your side like the ponies you pass on a carousel ride. All the colors go round in a swirl when you dance in the arms of a barroom girl. She rolls to her feet and she can't sleep no more, and looks at her clothes lying out on the floor. Last night's spangles and yesterday's pearls are the bright morning stars of the barroom world. Last night's spangles and yesterday's pearls are the bright morning stars of a barroom girl. Thank you. We love that song. We started playing it a while ago and then resurrected it just recently, and actually recorded a video down in Brevard, North Carolina, and that'll be out maybe sometime this week. So be watching out for that on YouTube. Yeah, sweet.
Sweet. We're going to do one more song and take a little brief break. I guess it's the watermelon for Available out front, good. I'm looking forward to some of that. I saw some good-looking corn across the street, too. I wonder how late that guy sells his stuff. We do have our CD that we were so proud went to the top of the folk music charts back in 2021. It's called Grit and Polish. And we're going to we figure that by the end of the evening, you're going to know who's the grit and who's the polish. And we've doing many songs off of that project this evening. And we'll have those for sale and some other offerings out at the little table in the front doorway there. And we'll come on out and say hey. And hey, yeah, there you go. And we got a bunch more music for you. Right now we're going to do something that I call the traditional medley. It was on my first solo CD, which was called Brand New Old Time Way. And, I've written a lot of tunes, these mostly in this kind of traditional style, reels and airs and waltzes and things. But the first tunes that I learned were the traditional ones, which I loved. And there's just something beautiful about this little A part, B part, kind of the A part. They contrast each other. One kind of makes a statement, the other one replies to it. Each one is a little world unto itself. And so I wanted to pay homage to that incredible tradition. And so I put these three together. The first one is called Sally in the Garden. And then we're going to do what's the next one called? It's a good
Spotted.
one. The Spotted Pony, that's right. That I learned actually down in North Carolina. The first time I went down there, back around 1976, to Fiddler's Grove.
You learned it in North Carolina?
No, I did.
I did too.
You did? Well, you grew up there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then we'll jump into one of my favorites, one of the first ones I learned that I still love to play, called The Soldier's Joy. And again, thanks to our hosts, Paul, Claudia. They served us a beautiful meal when we got here. A couple hours driving, and we felt so welcome in that beautiful home of theirs. And it's just what a great scene here. So, making us feel good and want to play. Here it is. so much. Woo! I'll be right back.
Thanks so much. Mark has a kind of a knack for writing some good clawhammer tunes, and I think he's about to render another one here.
I'm on a whole fourth. Yeah. This I was actually co-written with a really great fiddle player from New Brunswick. His name is Ray Legere, and it kind of had a bit of a Cajun feel to it, so we called it the Cajun Stomp. And this is on my Steppin' in the Boiler House CD. There might be one or two of those left out there. you. The old Cajun stomp. There's a chance to get a little bit of funky on that one. We're gonna do another song off the CD that I wrote from the point of view of my late wife, Eileen. If I can get this thing hooked in there. Oh, wrong banjo. Oh my, what's going on here? Sorry, gang. The banjo player is challenged. There's a little hook here. You got to put the little string on the little hook.
You want me to work on that while you?
What is? There we go. Why, all of a sudden, after all these years, was that so difficult? I don't know. Must be the watermelon.
Yeah.
Oh, the bats. Like I was saying, are we in the right place? F? Okay. Whew. All right. This must be the place in the show where I just fall apart. My wife passed away back in 2019, but it was a dark hole I fell into. But since then, I reconnected with an old friend, became a sweetheart, and I moved out to California to be with her. So
What part, LA?
life goes on. Berkeley, a liberal bastion. And I consider myself kind of on the liberal side, but I've been getting an education. My girlfriend Lisa says, "You can't say that." Because my late wife Eileen was from the South, and she could be pretty dang irreverent. And had a wonderful sense of Southern humor. And her folks were both from Bristol, Tennessee, from that area. And her folks, like many folks from the South, moved north. They moved to the Washington, D.C. area for better work, better opportunities, and a better life for their children. But every summer, they'd go back and visit with Eileen's favorite Aunt Fay and Uncle Jack. And so it kind of felt like a second home to her. And when we started seeing each other, she said, "You got to meet my Aunt Fay and Uncle Jack." And we went down there and visited many times. I got to love them, and they accepted me as family. It was a lovely, beautiful kind of experience. And one time driving down 81 through Bristol by myself, I got thinking of all these stories she told and visiting with them, and these words started coming to me, and I became a song called My East Tennessee Home, told from the point of view of Eileen. Mist lies. Oh, it just thinks it popped out. What is going on here?
Oh, I know what's going on.
What's going on?
I think well, no.
I'm sorry, folks. Technical difficulties. It's a banjo. What do you expect? All right. The mist lies low in the hollers and hills of my East Tennessee home. As I return one final time to claim what is my own. The voices that once filled the air are now a memory. As I go down this winding road, that's all I'll take with me. How the wind sang in the treetops in the hills of Tennessee. And the creek ran down from the spring in the ground. Those were the very best of times for me. It's here I spent my childhood days in golden summers past. We'd roam the woods and dam the creeks and roll in the summer grass. We'd leave our northern city life, go back to the old home place. My mother laughed, my brother teased, and I knew life's simple grace. How the wind sang in the treetops in the hills of Tennessee, and the creek ran down from the spring in the ground. Those were the very best of times for me. It's many years since Mother and Dad did drink from life's sweet fountain. Now they rest so quiet and still at the foot of the Holston Mountains. Brother dear, he left too soon, laid low by his broken heart. Of every step and song I sing, they'll always be a part. While the wind sang in the treetops in the hills of Tennessee, and the creek ran down from the spring in the ground, those were the very best of times for me. Oh, how I miss those hills of Tennessee. All right. Thank you.
I've been doing a lot of recording over the last couple of years. Is this thing on? Oh, yeah. Been doing a lot of...
Barely? You weren't doing enough?
Yeah, I felt like this went down
Check
again.
one, check.
Hey, one.
Whoops. Been walking along, Mark? What happened to this? This was starting out.
Hey, hey, good looking. What you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me? All right.
Keep going. I like
Now
that.
for a song that I wrote.
I am ready.
2. Turn to Sunday, get thoughts news. My baby left me the lonesome blues. My baby left me the lonesome blues. Dawned on me this morning, my baby car, she's rattling real past Union Yard. Can't find you, I can't find it. Locks, dust in my pocket, she emptied her heart. They turned to Sunday, no excuse. My baby left me the lonesome blues. My baby left me the lonesome blues. By the sound of my That was a tune that I recorded. Yeah, this is much better. So much better.
Okay.
Don't have to shout. That's a tune that I recorded, song, I guess, that I recorded last year with a band called Section House, and we're still trying to get those guys to put out an album. But it's all recorded, and it should be out fairly soon. And that was Hobo's Lonesome Blues. And I had a request while I was out there stuffing my face with watermelons. Had a request for something, and we're going to do that now. E?
E, thank you. It's the little things.
As a boy, how with wonderment and joy I'd watch the trains as they go by, and the whistle's lonesome sound you could hear from miles around as they rolled across that Greenville trestle high. But the whistles don't sound like they used to. Lately, not many trains go by. Hard times across the land, you know we're for a railroad man, and the Greenville trestle now don't seem so high. On the riverbank I'd stand with a cane pole in my hand, and I'd watch the freight trains up against the sky, with the black smoke trailing back as they moved along the track that runs across that Greenville trestle high. But the whistles don't sound like they used to. Lately, not many trains go by. Hard times across the land, you know we're for a railroad man, and the Greenville trestle now don't seem so high. Some whistle whine, I'd get rambling on my mind. Lord, I wish they still sounded that way. As she turned to head for home, she'd rumble low and long toward the sunset at the close of day. But the whistles don't sound like they used to. Lately, not many trains go by. Hard times across the land, you know we're for a railroad man, and the Greenville trestle now don't seem so high. You want one? Sure. Sound like they used to. Lately, not many trains go by. Hard times across the land, you know we're for a railroad man, and the Greenville trestle now don't seem so high. Hard times across this land, you know we're for a railroad man, and the Greenville trestle now don't seem so high.
Yeah, Brian. So the request was for, I think, Black Mountain Rag, right?
That's right.
And we often will put that after that other tune that we all learned from Doc Watson. And of course, Black Mountain Rag is one of the kind of signature tunes of Doc's. So we'll give a little bonus as well. And I love that tune. And Brian gave me a bass break, so I never tried that before. Something, what did they say? Something borrowed, something blue, something old, something new.
What do you think? All in favor of more bass solos? All right. You're going to work harder for your pay tonight.
Speaking of bass, now, oftentimes the bass player's kind of standing in the back, doesn't get a lot of glory, but the way I always looked at it is the bass player gets more per note than any other player in the band. So it all works out.
It's true. They're like the CEO of bluegrass musicians.
Hey.
Ready? 2, 3, 4. Down the street the dogs are barking and the day is getting dark. As the night comes in a falling, the dogs lose their bark. And the silent night is shattered by the thoughts inside my mind. Being one too many mornings and 1,000 miles behind. From the crossroads of my doorstep, my eyes start to fade, and I turn my head back to the room with my love and I have laid. Gaze back to the street, the sidewalk and the sign. Being one too many mornings and 1,000 miles behind. It's a restless, hungry feeling that don't mean no one no good. When everything I am is said, you say it just as good. your side and I'm right from mine. We're both one too many mornings and 1,000 miles behind.
Thank you. Thanks, folks. That's a beautiful Bob Dylan song that Brian brought to our duo, and we included on our Grit and Polish CD. I just love that one. It's so still and no frills, just a beautiful singing there and some guitar playing. So we're going to pull out the old bow and do you a little medley. I call it, it's also on the CD, it's called I nicknamed it Old World, New World, because the first tune is an old Yiddish folk song from over Eastern Europe, and called Poppy Rosin. And then we're going to go into a classic Bob Wills tune called Maiden's Prayer, and it's featuring kind of twin fiddles here, I guess as you might call it.
Yeah, Bob Wills was, well, everybody knows who Bob Wills is. Never mind.
Go ahead, Brian.
All right.
Fill us in.
Well, Bob was, he had his Texas Playboys back in the 30s, and he was a guy that we listened to, that Arvel taught us about growing up in North Carolina, and Arvel used to listen to him on the radio. Arvel grew up in a community, little tiny place called Upper Pawpaw, and there was one radio and one car in the community, and
They drove around a lot.
yeah. No, they drove into Asheville once a month. Anyway, Bob Wills, wonderful music, and I guess his first, no, that's the second tune. It's called Maiden's Prayer.
Yeah. You're on here, right? All right.
I'm assuming this already occurred to Mark, but it just occurred to me how appropriate that is because that we were playing twin fiddles on that song because Bob Dylan and his Texas Playboys was known for the triple fiddles. So Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys. He's known for triple fiddles. In fact, there was a great fiddler in Nashville, Dale Potter, who listened to the Texas Playboys on the radio and thought that was all one fiddler playing it. And ended up learning how to play. If you go and research Dale Potter, you can hear him playing triple stops on a fiddle. Something like that, only much better. Anyway.
You know what?
Yeah.
That's incredible. That reminds me of a story of a guitar player actually from New England. I think his name was Guy Van Duzer. And there's a story that he listened to recordings of Chet Atkins. And Chet was using, incredible guitar player, played electric, kind of finger-picking electric guitar. But he used this effect on his guitar where it would double each note that he played. He'd go, then he'd go, digging, 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 digging. And Guy didn't know that he was using some kind of effect. So he learned some of these pieces, playing all of those notes. And then at one point finally saw Chet playing live and went, oh my word. So what's that?
They started listening to the brass bands and doing that too.
Lord. We're going to feature Brian on this incredible instrument. It's a banjo with no frets, so we don't worry about it because you don't fret. No, I'm kidding. And
Yes, that's the right response. Thank you.
And Paul encouraged us to talk a little bit about some of the history of some of this music that we're doing. I think the banjo originally had no frets on it. Of course, it originated, the kind of the basic idea of the banjo came from Africa, and then it evolved in the West Indies, and then, of course, came here as part of the horrible slave trade. And eventually people all over the South began playing it. Started to have frets on it. There's a guy who kind of did the 5-string thing. That was Sweetie.
Yeah. Originally, also this kind of drum head here, I think it was kind of rare that these were made out of these kind of tacked drum heads. It was more gourd banjos, right?
Yeah. So, the banjo has become an incredible American instrument, but we like to give attribution. How do you say that? Attribution. Attribution, thank you. And we're also going to do, there's something else I'm going to do as part of this next number, but I'll tell you more about that when we're done. And Brian, you're going to start with one of yours, right?
I am.
There you go. Go over here and have a drink and smoke.
All right, don't touch those faders. Can you hear that? Barely. Here, let's try this. Now the girl I love don't pay me no mind. The girl I love don't pay me no mind. Oh, sweetheart divine, put your little hand in mine. The girl I love don't pay me no mind. And the girl I love's from sunny Tennessee. The girl I love's from sunny Tennessee. Oh, sunny Tennessee, babe, don't never mind to me. The girl I love's from sunny Tennessee. And the girl I love don't pay me no mind. The girl I love don't pay me no mind. Well, sweetheart divine, put your little head in mine. The girl I love don't pay me no mind. And the girl I love, she done it and left this town. The girl I love, she done it and left this town. Well, she done and left this town. She's Alabama bound. The girl I love, she done and left this town. Well, the girl I love don't pay me no mind. The girl I love don't pay me no mind. Well, sweetheart divine, put your little hand in mine. The girl I love don't pay me no mind. She's sorry what she's done. Right. Now I think she's sorry what she's done. You better know it. Well, she come back to town with her little head hung down. Now I think she's sorry what she's done. And the girl I love don't pay me no mind. The girl I love don't pay me no mind. Oh, sweetheart divine, put your little hand in mine. And the girl I love don't pay me no mind. Sweetheart divine, put your little hand in mine. The girl I love don't pay me no mind.
Thank you so much. So that body percussion I was just doing, it's called hambone, like ham sandwich, hambone, and it is African American in origin. It was evolved. There's no written record, but most likely evolved when Africans were brought to this country as slaves, and they had very evolved musical traditions, and a lot of them were percussive traditions, using drums and so on with various kinds of percussion instruments. And they were Most generally, those instruments were taken away from them, their native clothing and everything, to try to kind of suppress and crush their spirits. But it's a testament to the human spirit that they still had that music in them, and figured out a way to make those rhythms without the drums. And the hambone was the way they did it. Hambone is just slang for the thigh down south. It's sometimes called pat and juba as well. I learned it working with that group I mentioned earlier, Footwork's Percussive Dance Ensemble, and they originally learned it from some folks from the Georgia Sea Islands, which are some islands off the coast of South Carolina that some freed slaves moved to not long after emancipation, and they didn't have electricity and radio there for many, many years, up into the 60s. And so a lot of those old plantation songs, traditions, play party games, and music was preserved. It was almost like a little time capsule. And some folklorists stumbled across it in the 60s, and they asked a few of the folks that were there if they'd come and perform and teach at the folk festivals, which they did, and that's where the folks from Footworks met them, took their workshops, and out of respect, they went to, there was a couple, Doug and Frankie Quinby, and out of respect, they went to Doug and said, hey, is it okay, we love this body percussion, this hambone that you just taught, and is it okay if we use it in our shows and teach it to kids in our school shows? And he just looked right at them and said, well, you're an American, aren't you? Which was a really beautiful sentiment. It was like, hey, this is something we all share. And of course, one of my favorite sayings that goes along with that is, the tradition does not care who bears it. So, folks, we're gonna finish up here and let y'all go home. It is a weeknight, isn't it? Some folks still work. And we've had a really wonderful time. This room, Paul was saying, boy, that room sounds great, and he's right. It just sounds great in here, makes you want to play. Of course, that's half the equation. The other half is just the great energy coming from the crowd, and we really appreciate your being here and your enthusiasm and good spirit. Of course, watermelon will do that, won't it? Feel free to go to our websites, markschatz.net and
RyanMcDowell.com.
Find out more about us, our music, individually and together. Again, thanks to Paul and Claudia for the wonderful hospitality and for putting on and for organizing and maintaining this really great concert series. I understand it's quite an eclectic mix, and it's really a gift to this community. So we'll finish up with a medley. The first tune is one of mine called The First Snow of December, and then we'll jump into an old-timey tune that we both have known for years and love to play. The dancers love it. It's called Fly Around My Pretty Little Miss. Fly around my daisy. She dang well drive me crazy. Here we go.